Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we're going to explore what the beast really is. One of the most disturbing beings ever conceived in modern animation doesn't need to scream or attack violently to instill fear. Its presence alone is enough. Its soft, whispering voice, that mournful song echoing through the dead trees of an endless forest. Among all the creatures that have emerged from the animated world, few are as unsettling, as symbolically dense, and as profoundly dark as the beast, the enigmatic entity that lurks in the shadows of the forest in the miniseries Over the Garden Wall. The beast is not just a figure of evil, it is a symbol. It resides in the unknown, a realm suspended between life and death, a wooded purgatory where lost souls risk being trapped forever. There, this shadowy creature feeds on human suffering, especially that of children, ensnaring them in a cycle of despair so deep that, little by little, their will fades away until nothing remains. Only wood, only Edelwood. That's why in this video, we're going to explore everything about this creature in depth. Its story within the series universe, its appearance and visual features, its psychology, its supernatural abilities, and even its hidden weaknesses. The beast represents the dark heart of the unknown, and its main goal is to keep the flame of a black lantern alive, a lantern that, as revealed, contains its very soul. To do this, it requires a very specific fuel, oil extracted from Edelwood trees that, in a tragic twist, are born from the bodies of lost children whose souls have been consumed by it. When the brothers Wirt and Greg become lost in the unknown, they become its new target. Although the beast barely appears physically on screen, its shadow looms over every corner of the forest, making its presence felt through the fear it inspires in all the characters. But the beast's story is deeply connected to another key character, the woodsman. In one of the narrative's most tragic twists, we discover that this man was deceived by the beast, who made him believe that his daughter's soul was trapped inside the lantern. Convinced that keeping the flame alive was the only way to keep her alive, the woodsman becomes its unwilling servant, collecting the necessary oil without knowing its true origin. The narrative suggests that the beast wasn't born, but rather emerged from the very sorrow that inhabits the forest. Many fan theories point to this entity as a reflection of collective suffering, a dark manifestation that can only exist as long as others suffer, hence its constant need to spread hopelessness. Without that energy, its flame would die out, and with it, its existence. The terror represented by the beast goes beyond the visual. It's a symbol of resignation, of the fear of getting lost within oneself, of being consumed by one's inner darkness. Its power lies not only in what it does, but in what it represents. And in this video, I'll tell you everything about it. Because the beast is not only one of the most disturbing villains in the animated world, it is also one of the most poetic and one of the most tragically human. Throughout one of the most unsettling episodes of Over the Garden Wall, the brothers Wirt and Greg receive a chilling warning. The innkeeper tells them that the woodsman might not be who he appears to be, but something far more dangerous, the dreaded beast. This legendary creature roams the forest endlessly, hunting lost children to turn them into Edelwood trees. The reason? To extract a dark oil from them that fuels a sinister lantern, whose flame seems to harbor a deeper secret than it first appears. The beast first appears right after the brothers mistakenly attack the woodsman, thinking he was the monster. But once the man recovers, the real threat emerges from the trees, enveloping everything with its terrifying presence. In that moment, we discover a dark history between the beast and the woodsman, a silent struggle over control of the lantern. The creature demands information about the children, but the woodsman, still guided by a flicker of compassion, refuses to yield. The beast retreats, singing a mournful tune that foreshadows a looming danger. Eventually, The woodsman warns them again about the beast, but the brothers flee, unaware of the true weight of the threat. Only then does the entity reappear, confronting the woodsman, reminding him of their pact and mocking his apparent weakness. It is then implied that the man, bound by a personal reason, his daughter's salvation, is working against his will for this creature. In one of the most heartbreaking scenes, the beast confronts him directly. Are the lives of unknown children worth more than that of his own daughter? The woodsman, visibly shaken, asks if there is another way, but the beast's response is harsh. There is no escape, only them and the forest. Meanwhile, Greg, on his own journey, meets the Queen of the Clouds, who offers to send him home, without his brother. She tells him it's already too late for Wirt. His body has begun to turn into an Edelwood tree. In an act of brotherly love, Greg chooses to sacrifice himself and offers his soul to the beast to save Wirt. From that point on, he walks alongside the creature, while Wirt, upon waking, begins a desperate search that leads him to fall into a frozen lake. Later, the beast tries to break Greg's spirit, pushing him to the brink of total surrender. The woodsman, drawn by the creature's ominous song, follows its trail to a grove of Edelwood trees. There, he tries to rescue Greg, but the beast intercepts him. It provokes him once again by mentioning his daughter, attempting to manipulate him into keeping the lantern lit. When Wirt and Beatrice arrive to help, the final confrontation begins. The beast offers Wirt a deal: take the woodsman's place as keeper of the lantern, and Greg will live forever within its flame. But Wirt, clever and observant, deduces the truth. The soul inside the lantern is not Greg's, but the beast's own. This revelation changes everything. Wirt threatens to extinguish it, and the entity's desperate scream confirms his suspicion. He hands the lantern to the woodsman, who, after years of deception, finally realizes he's been manipulated. The beast makes one last attempt to trick him, claiming that his daughter's life depends on the flame. But the woodsman, heartbroken, chooses sacrifice. He extinguishes the lantern, ending the beast once and for all. In the final moments of the series, we learn that it had all been a lie. The woodsman's daughter was never trapped. She had simply returned home, unaware of her father's torment in the unknown. The beast's true power lay in its ability to manipulate, deceive, and corrupt. Now that we've thoroughly covered its story, I want to talk to you about the beast's physical appearance, what we know about its personality and behavior, and I'll explain its incredible abilities and known weaknesses. The beast is a figure shrouded in shadows and mystery. Its tall, hunched humanoid silhouette is cloaked in what appears to be a dark robe, and its most recognizable feature is a twisted pair of antlers, resembling those of a deer or elk. Its eyes shine in various colors: white, red, yellow, or blue, depending on its emotional state, and when the light reveals it, its true body appears as a grotesque amalgamation of children's faces, frozen in eternal suffering, the souls of those transformed into Edelwood trees. Its face has a mouth and nose, but lacks ears, and its long, thin hands end in sharp claws. Every detail of its design is crafted to instill fear, a being that fuses animal, human, and supernatural traits into one infernal entity. The beast is extremely intelligent, manipulative, and calculating. Its primary motivation is survival, and it will do anything to stay alive. It speaks in a soft, almost comforting voice, which it uses to deceive and seduce its victims. But if it feels threatened, it drops its gentle facade and reveals a cruel and explosive temper. One of its most sinister tools is its singing. It uses its song both to fell trees and to extract the souls of those who fall under its control. While it can possess forest animals and transform them into monstrous servants, it cannot fully dominate human will, making emotional corruption its most powerful weapon. It is hinted that the beast is an ancient, demonic entity, perhaps even an embodiment of despair itself. It is virtually immune to physical harm and seemingly immortal, as long as its lantern remains lit. But therein lies its greatest weakness. The flame within the lantern is its soul, and its destruction marks the creature's true end. Furthermore, its arrogance and obsession with manipulating humans make it vulnerable to those smarter than it, just like Wirt. And that is everything we know, at least so far, about the beast, that dark and enigmatic presence that inhabits the unknown. A creature as symbolic as it is terrifying, one that represents not just fear of the unknown, but also the loss of hope and surrender to darkness. Personally, I think it's one of the most subtly crafted and well-written villains in modern animation, and it's impossible not to feel a chill run down your spine when you hear its voice whispering among the trees. But now I want to know what you think. Did you already know about the beast and its role in Over the Garden Wall? Do you think it represents something deeper, like depression, death, or oblivion? And most importantly, if you ever got lost in the unknown, do you think you could resist its influence? Leave your answers in the comments, along with any theory or interpretation you might have about this haunting figure. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, share it with other mystery lovers so more people can discover creatures like this. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my new videos.